Hey there, sixth grade clarinet players. This is a video of Miss Westfall just taking you guys through a couple little things with your B flat scale, okay? So we have been doing your B flat scale for ages and ages and ages in big group band. And as I told you those last few times I had seen you, I really want you to try to play the high B naturals, okay? We're gonna get lots of practice for that in here in a second because we're gonna be playing these arpeggios and these thirds, okay? So this is this net, not the first line, but line 2 and line 3, okay? Now, really quick, the first thing we should probably know is what is an arpeggio? An arpeggio, that word to me, it always kind of sounds like an Italian pasta, okay? It's not a pasta, even if it sounds like it. What it is a broken chord. Now, a chord is, usually it's 3 notes at least, and they're played together at one time on an instrument, like a piano or a guitar. We play them at the same time. They sound awesome, okay? We can sing chords. We can play chords on our instruments. The only thing is when we sing and when we play a lot of our instruments in band, we can't play more than 1 note at a time, okay? You can't sing 2 notes at the same time. So what we do a lot instead in singing and in band is we break those chords, okay? So a chord is the first, third, and fifth note. Guess what the first 3 notes are in this arpeggio? The first, third, and fifth note of the B flat scale. Basically, if I add these first 4 notes together, they sound really good. Measure 7 here. If I add those 4 notes together, they sound really good, okay? So these notes in some kind of this order would be very common in music, which is why we're gonna practice them, okay? So let's do the arpeggio first, and then I'll explain what thirds are, okay? The only thing I wanna remind you is that we have a high C and a high B here. Remember, that high C is just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So all the holes, add your right bottom pinky, and make sure you put your register key down so it pops up high. That C should sound like this. And the B right after it will add the left pinky down. So the B has all the fingers. Don't play flat there. B flat pinch. Don't play the pinch. There is no flat, so you can't play the pinch. All the fingers, okay? Do your best to try those high notes, especially now that we, have a little bit more time on our hands. It's good to be trying and challenging yourself to this trickier things, okay? I speak from experience. I'm trying to learn a new language just for fun. So try some of these harder things for fun when you have time, okay? Because eventually next year when you're in big group band, probably not going to have a lot of time and you will have these high notes. So better to get more accustomed to them now, okay? So here is that arpeggio. I am going to go slow on this. It'll go. Cool. The thirds is kind of like the arpeggio. It starts off the same, C, then E, but you'll notice there's a pattern happening. What it's really doing is it's going from the first note of the scale to the third note. Then it's coming back down and it's skipping, and then coming back down and skipping, and coming back down and skipping. And that's the pattern it has. Now, why is it called thirds? Well, if I count the note C, D is between those 2 notes, and E is the third note from the D. D, E, F. That's another third. E, F, G. There's another third. So guys, when we go from a line note to a line note right beside each other, or a space note to a space note right beside each other, and by the way, it can be coming down too. Doesn't matter. We still call that a third, and that's how this lovely little warm-up is going to work. Basically, guys, the reason we're going to practice this is the most common way we move in music is in order, just like a scale. Probably the second most common way we move in music is by thirds, okay? So getting good at moving by skip, basically, is going to be really beneficial, make you such a better clarinet player. Here again, just like I talked about in the arpeggios, I do want you to try the high B with all the fingers, the high C with all of them, except your left pinky. And because this is going to do that lovely thirds thing, you are actually going to go 1 note higher. The high D, just to remind you, is a low G. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all the holes, and add your register key. Okay? Last but not least, don't forget, Bs are natural. So when you play this B, way over here in measure 16, make sure you use your middle finger, okay? I'm gonna take this slow. If you really get bored of this someday and want more challenging, speed-wise in this, please let me know. Most of you guys, especially once we get to these higher notes, are gonna need this a little slower. So if it seems really slow at the beginning, be patient. We don't wanna go too fast because measure 11, 12, and 13 are gonna be a little bit harder, okay? Here's the thirds. 2 and ready, here I go. Now, maybe you have to stop that video and work on, measure 12 once or twice to get your fingers used to that, or measure 13. Totally fine, guys, but definitely start messing with those higher notes. Give yourself a little bit of a challenge. Try something new, okay? Happy practicing, guys.